if you're ever so slightly tapped into the self-improvement community, then you definitely know that all these gurus and all those people, they always try to like sell you those books, and they're like, okay, you need to read this self-improvement book to fix this habit and this kind of stuff and this. They always rely on books to first find their knowledge, but also give you the knowledge that they find. Well, now it's ChatGPT, obviously, but back then, in the early days, it was always the books. But I've come to realize that every time in life that I genuinely felt the intrinsic motivation to better myself, to just change my habits and all that, it wasn't when I was reading self-improvement books. It was when I was reading stories, like those, like just anything basically. Most self-help books, although are good in my opinion, often feel like some sort of a chore if they're not written really in an entertaining way, or at least that's my opinion, because it's like, it's just raw knowledge being transferred to you. Most storybooks have that knowledge transferred to you by a character that you idolize and that you admire. Basically, it's a character you want. It's like a, not your master, but your mentor to a certain degree. And some characters, like a good example is in this book, which I love, which a lot of people probably hate. They watch the anime, Mushoku Tensei. I know it's Japanese and all that. Some people can hate on it because the character, he's a little weird. But throughout his journey, it's a long series, alright? It's a very long series. The anime is not even caught up to half of the story. But you kind of see the character mature through his journey, and you kind of see his virtue develop over time, and how much more disciplined he becomes. And it's just so great. And every time I read a book like that, I just feel so, like, energized, bro. It's just refreshing to see a character that, obviously, I don't think like him that much, right? But I'm not a fucking pervert like him. That's the whole thing about his character. But it's like, he's just fucking great at life, and you want to become like him to a certain degree. And I can say the same about other stories. I feel like there's this one story which is French Canadian. It's a pretty good book. I didn't actually finish the book yet, but this book talks about this guy that's trying to become a comedian, and it's like a modern comedian, you know, in the fucking social media era where you have to post clips and all that. And it's like, it's a weird, interesting story because it's like not generic. It's not the story of a guy who's trying to become like, just achieve his dream. You see him go through the struggles of his dream and the reality that we're currently facing. Like, it's really up to date, but you can see this character, his mental state. Sometimes it's a little bit of a depressing book because he's not always feeling great, but he always has this way of living and thinking that's just very, very interesting in my opinion, and opens up some doors to your just new thoughts, if you understand what I mean. It just provokes critical thinking in most of those books that you don't have in self-improvement books, because it's just information that's being fed to you directly, and it's just always stated in a way that's like, oh, this is factual and this is how this is, and this is just self-improvement, right? In the story, it's so much more different and so much more like, it's a better approach in my opinion. The same way it could go, it's not just self-improvement, it's like also philosophical very often, because the character allows himself to think and all that. There's this one book from Dostoevsky or something, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Like, there's the story that he wrote about like a murder story, right? And the main character, I'm pretty sure it's the main character, I haven't read the book, but I've seen the quote. It was on Instagram at one point, so you guys have probably heard of it. I heard it through philosophy classes, and the teacher was talking about this one quote, which I'll put on the screen right now, and it's like, wow, like, that is a great ass fucking quote. Like, it's just, it's so deep. There's so much meaning to that quote. And although this quote was made for the story and for the characters, I'm assuming, it kind of goes directly to prove my point that you can learn from these storybooks. You know, I have a feeling that most people think that storybooks are just about stories and fantasy and dreams and all that. It's so much more than that. It's very deep in my opinion, and anyone can learn from it. And it's fun lecture. It's reading, I mean, it's not just straight up like a chore like self-improvement books, which is why a lot of people don't like reading. They get into reading at first for self-improvement, and they realize that, oh, it's kind of boring, and they just stop because it's a chore to them. But they don't ever touch upon the main aspect of reading, which is being inspired in life makes you a better person, makes you more productive, makes you, like, having hope, having dream is what makes you so much more human, so much more down to earth, and it's just so much more competent in life. When you're always feeling inspired, when you're always feeling like there's some sort of energy backing you up from whatever it is, series, stories, and all that, you become empowered. And that is just absolutely true. Like, the same thing happened when I first started watching One Piece. I know a lot of people hate this kind of show because it's long and all that, but there's no denying that it's probably the most accurate symbolization of hope there is out there in life. Not just hope dreams. It's like it motivates you to think and achieve the shit that you want to do. And it's so powerful. It's not just a story. When people read One Piece or watch it, it kind of becomes a part of their life. And that's why so many people say it's life-changing when you actually try. Well, you don't even have to try to relate to the story. It makes you relate to it. It forces you to understand it and change and just understand all the beliefs that are put in it. It's such a thought-provoking story when at the surface it just doesn't look like it. So that's why I think reading is very fucking important to all of you, and why you should start reading stories if you want to improve as a person. It's not just about self-improvement books. It's about being inspired, being like relating to characters that make you a better person and that also are good people. I encourage you guys to read all that kind of stuff. It's really good for y'all. And yeah, no, that's the message I had to say for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing, like, leave a comment, whatever you want to see next. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.